A very warm welcome to you, Ayushi. First of all, a big round of applause as you join us here today. It's pleasure to have you on the channel. How is it going on?
Everything is really great. Currently, I'm in India enjoying the weather after a very long time. Yeah.
Great, 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 great. By the way, I saw a very interesting video from Sai Batra that you are running, and that video was titled as "How Handwriting Exposes More Than You Think." Your handwriting exposes more than you think, right? And it was a fascinating to see how people having certain issues resemble certain patterns, which is insane. So I'm sure a lot of students must be benefiting from your sessions. Keep up the great work.
Thank you so much, Chinmay.
Perfect, perfect. So now, Ayushi, before I reveal the topic, I start asking you the questions. I want you to know something about myself and what I believe. So first of all, I'm 23 right now, and for the next 36 months, my only goal is to achieve the mastery in the field of public speaking and communication. And the reason I'm so obsessed with this one skill is because if you had met me in 2015, you would have found someone who is determined to not open his mouth. I was extremely shy and the most insecure kid in my entire school. But everything changed when I changed my perspective about myself. I had an incredibly strong belief that if I spend some time building my skill with the right people on the right direction, I can be the greatest one. And with all of the courage, I launched my first YouTube video in 2021. With time, I got better, 1% better every single day. So far, created more than 200 videos, and years later, I got the opportunity to work with edtech platforms, a lot of different creators from different backgrounds, conducting online workshops for more than 100 students. And I realized this one thing, that improving this one skill, communication skills, improves all the areas of your life, whether it's business, your relationships, or your job. And that's when I started, taking this one skill very seriously. So I strongly believe that your success depends on how you communicate. Your success depends on how you communicate, whether you are in a business or relationship, or whether you're in a job. So my goal through this podcast uh, is to tell people its importance, and from a perspective of a psychologist. I also believe in the power of perspective, that you are the average of top 5 people spend most of your time with. You're the average of top 5 content pieces that you consume every single day. And as I started surrounding myself with uh, good content, content of people who are best public speakers, people who speak really well, I started noticing changes in my speaking skills, in my thoughts, the way I present myself. And that's when I started surrounding myself with these high standard, high value people. And that's why this podcast. My goal through this podcast is to build connection with you, learn from your perspective, and create a positive influence out of this collaboration. I genuinely want to know your perspective, because I can have all the skill set in the world. I can read 100 books on public speaking, psychology, communication, but I can never have your perspective. And that's why this session.
So, as you mentioned, Chinmay, that when you surround yourself with 5 people that you really adore, your perspective of life changes. That is very true. The time I stepped out from my home, my comfort zone, and I surrounded myself with people who were doing really good in life. I saw a lot of change in me. Like, I was just like you, unable to speak, not to communicate. I was very camera shy. But thanks to Muck Talks and Sai Batra, that today I can speak in front of you, and being the guest over here with you is an amazing opportunity right now. So thank you for mentioning that point, and I would also love to go ahead with this conversation and talk more about how communication is so important when you are dealing with clients, when you are dealing in interviews, and you are going forward in your career.
Yeah, super glad to have you here. So today, the topic of the session is re-engineering the mind, and here we understand psychology and different frameworks in psychology to improve our communication skills, to improve our lives. Yeah. So in this session, Ayushi, my aim is to create a 40-minute free high quality training session for students and working professionals to help them understand the importance of communication from a perspective of a psychologist. I know you have worked on more than 26 different projects, so there is a lot that you have. So before I dive into the questions, I just want you to introduce yourself and how can you help us today?
So, Chinmay, if I have to talk about myself, so I started my journey as a psychologist in 2017. And it was a long journey. I always wish to my college to end, right? Every student wishes that. So, during our college period, we used to work as an intern in different organizations. So, till now, from 2017 to 2025, right now, I've worked in more than 25 companies and co-founded a company called Mug Talks, and currently I'm the founder of Saibatra. The idea is just to help people. I was helping people through Mug Talks for all the individuals who, all the immigrants, students who come to Canada and they're unable to find a job. They don't know how to go ahead in Canada, and live. So our goal through Mug Talks was to bridge that gap, and through Saibatra, my goal is today to increase more job opportunities for psychology in India, because psychologists suffer a lot.
Right. Insane. And I was surprised when I went on your LinkedIn profile and I actually counted every single of your experience. And I was, shocked to see, that you have a lot, like you have a strong passion for, psychology and helping people. Right. Brilliant. Now, the topic of this podcast, as you know, is re-engineering the mind and using psychology for better communication. So, we are studying and understanding psychological principles and scientific hacks to 10x the quality of the way we speak. So, you should tell us what are the top three psychological principles that you think shape our communication style, that shape how we communicate our ideas.
So first of all, it's very important to, listen. People don't listen nowadays and they just respond. So first of all, work on your listening skills. Active listening is a very important concept. I always tell my interns to active listening is very important. Second, mirroring. Mirroring is another aspect. If you know what mirroring is, like when we are talking, we are trying to match our emotions. If you are
Yeah.
smiling, I'm smiling too. So it's very important that we also inculcate on our daily to daily conversations, right? This is the second aspect. And the third aspect is actually, aligning with what the person is saying through emotional expression.
Hmm.
Sometimes our non-verbal behaviors speak more than our verbal behavior, so you need to have good expressions, when you are
Right.
talking to somebody. Why it is
Right.
important? Because obviously when somebody is looking at you, they are trying to, judge you and understand how you behave, how you talk. All of these
Right.
very small details really help you to communicate.
Right. Yeah. In fact, I have seen people in conversation that they are not ready to listen. Like they want to speak, not because they want to add value, but because they want to showcase themselves that they know much more than the other person. They want other people to think they are intellectual. That's
Yeah,
where
I
many
agree.
people get wrong. So yeah, and you have managed more than 250 cases, as I see. You have interviewed more than 200 students and interacted with diverse age groups. What are some mistakes that you see the people make, common mistakes that people make while communicating?
So, first of all, that listening is a very important chunk. So, it's not like if you are listening passively, you will not get a lot of information. So, first mistake, like, when people do when, they are talking through interviews also, they are not trying to understand the concept behind a interviewee's question. So, they are very much into the aspect of responding to the question, and rather than understanding what the interviewing is trying to ask them. So during my journey as well, through all of these interviews, I was also very stuck, how to respond. So first mistake is try to analyze what the other person is trying to ask you. Sometimes there's a deeper meaning to it. It's not just the question. Maybe the interviewee is asking you something related to your own internal skills, right? And they are trying to judge your soft skills, not your hard skills. And second most important thing, while you are going through all of these interviews, to completely understand the concept. Be prepared when you are going for these interviews, right? A lot of students, just they think that okay, reading about the company, is enough. But it's very important that you research about it. Researching is a very important tool.
Right.
All of these small things will help you to understand how to go forward with the session and not to make mistakes. If you're unprepared, you're definitely going to make mistake. And obviously you will be in this fear of judgment that okay, what the other person will think, right? So this is how we can, through all of these small things, we can build our communication, right?
Right. Right.
Also, one last thing I would like to mention is the way you speak. Sometimes people don't know how to use their pitch, their tone, their sound when you're talking. It's like modulating your sound waves. You have to get the hand of it, how to speak and when to speak, and what level of tone and pitch is required when you are speaking.
Right, right, right. You mentioned a very important point, that is research. I think thorough research is center of everything. It tells how prepared you are and how passionate you are. Like most important thing. I think every interviewer or every person that you meet, they expect you to be passionate about your skill, about your field. So, and the best way to outperform crowd, majority of the crowd, is to become so passionate about is to become passionate about your field, because most people are not, right? So yeah, research is important, and preparation is important. When there is lack of preparation, it also leads to anxiety, it also leads to nervousness, right? I should tell us what are some ways, scientific ways, or anything that will help us manage our nervousness and anxiety before an interview or before a presentation or speech.
Okay, I'll ask you one simple question before you jump into any interview. What is the first thing that you say to yourself in your head?
Yeah, yeah. It's all about me, me, me. How do I look? What if I mess up? What if I forget?
Yeah. So when we say I will mess up, this is how you are gonna, perform in your interviews, your examinations, and everywhere. This only one thought, one sentence, I will mess up, I'm not worth it, I'm not gonna do my best, will release a lot of, neurochemicals in your brain, leading you all of that anxiety before the examination. You're going to have stage fear. You will have a lot of issues while talking to the people. So before you jump into any of these things like interviews, stage, just make an affirmation or make this I statement that I tell all of my interns to use. And this I message is basically making a positive affirmation, rather than saying I am not good enough, or I'm not best, I'm going to mess up. Just make a small statement that I will do my best and see the progress and result that you will go through.
Right, right. Insane, insane. Because before 10 minutes of any speech or PPT, all of us think, what if I forget thing? Like, what people will think about me? That is the most, common thing, right? But like after interviewing a lot of people, I have realized is one thing, that people don't care about your mistakes. I believe, like if you're on stage and if you make any mistake, I don't think any like right after the PPT, people are going to think about your mistakes while having their delicious lunch, their dinner. They are not going to. So when you realize that people don't care about your mistake, they care about the value you have to provide to them. The sooner you realize this, the sooner you get out of nervousness. And also, I believe the best cure to nervousness and anxiety is familiarity. I think the biggest reason why we feel nervous on stage is because we're not familiar with the environment, right? Yeah, so before an interview, if we can practice, let's say 20, 30 mock interviews, there is no way that you will get nervous.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
insane. Pretty
So
insane.
I would like to add one more point. Like, why are these thoughts coming in your head that you are not going to do good enough? Why you are feeling anxious? Why this low self esteem is coming? Because of the lack of self care that you are doing with yourself. So it's very important to, maintain a routine, and a routine where, you practice mindfulness, you practice some exercise, you have a healthy diet. A lot of people, a lot of psychologists don't mention this, but all of these small things, in your daily routine helps a lot. So if you go beyond and understand about psychology and the gut, you will understand that when we eat a certain kind of food, it also channelizes our thoughts, how we talk, and how we perform. So why people say you should have almonds in order to increase your brain strength,
Oh.
right? There's a lot of neuroscience behind it, and it's very important to have a good routine, a proper self care in order to just start communicating. Because if your thoughts are not clear, you will definitely have these anxious thoughts that I'm not going to perform the best.
Right, 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 right. And actually, I have experienced this one thing. When I write down my thoughts, I'm able to communicate myself like much better. So I think documenting the stories or documenting your story that you want to share during presentation, I think that will help you a lot to get rid of this.
Definitely, definitely. In every session with my client, and psychologists use this technique called journaling. So when we are journaling, asking you to write down your thoughts, you gain more clarity. As just like you mentioned, why it happens? Because when we talk about our thoughts, it's like tangled piece of a thread, which we have to untangle one by one. So I call this, and even in psychology, we have this model called ABC model, where A stands for your antecedents, like whatever things that cause all of these behaviors. Then B is the behavior, what behavior is happening right now, and C is the consequence. So now let's say this, that you are having this examination anxiety, or maybe the stage fear. Right now you're having this thought that I will not perform my best. This is your antecedent, right? This will cause a behavior, sweating, you will be very nervous, you will be walking very slowly to the stage, and the consequence would be last, you will not perform well. So it's very important that we untangle our thoughts, clearly state about what we are feeling. So through journaling, what we do, we write down all of these thoughts and understand why the problem is there, how to resolve it.
Right, right, right. It's a triangle, right?
It's a
ABC.
triangle, definitely.
Right. Perfect. Insane, insane. Brilliant. So now that we know how to overcome our nervousness and anxiety, tell us what are some ways, practical ways that will help us to build confidence on stage or in an interview.
Okay, so the one activity that you should practice is talking to yourself. In order to build confidence, nobody's gonna teach you how to be confident enough. It starts with you. So I'll tell you one small story. I was very camera shy. I never knew how to talk in front of camera. But one day I just decided, I am gonna make a mistake today. That mistake would be talking in front of the camera. And you will not believe that one mistake helped me to gain the confidence that now I can speak in front of a lot of people. So if you want to build your confidence, it starts with the fact that you have to take the challenge, you have to talk about it, that okay, now I'm gonna do it. But however, if I have to tell any client, any person how to build it, then there's a very small activity that you should do, is called mirror activity, where you have to sit or stand in front of the camera, talk to yourself. Now what happens when you're talking in front of the camera? First, you're observing yourself, that how you are performing. And day by day, when you understand how your face expressions are there, how your body language is there, you will slowly start developing the skills of confidence. You will start feeling motivated, that okay, every single day you will see a minor change in yourself, right? That is the first aspect of building confidence. But however, if you want to regain more strength, it's very important that you understand what are the lags of not having this confidence in you. Is it because of lack of self care, self love? Where it is coming from? It's very important to understand the deep cause of it, the deep root. So it's very important, like if you are trying to build this confidence in yourself, talk to yourself, have a positive self talk or a pep talk. Okay, I can do this, like let's do it. Okay, now it will be it will sound something like very irrational to say that okay, this small activity can help. but it really helps, Chinmay. Like I have practiced on myself, and moreover, before you start, building confidence, your goal is not to build confidence, but your goal first is to make yourself motivated enough that whether I can do this or not. So we have to practice certain kind of activities, in our day-to-day routine when we are trying to build confidence. It's just one step at a time, just, getting up from the bed. It's very simple. So a lot of patients, come to me and they ask, I am unable to, build a confidence in myself. And I just give them this small activity every single day. You have to gradually make one step at a time. So today, if you are, just climbing one ladder, tomorrow you have to climb two. So it's a gradual process of moving ahead, right? So let's say, for example, if you ask me, okay, Ayushi, tell me from today, if I have to start how to build my confidence, I would say just get up from the bed, walk for 2 minutes. And what you did with yourself, you distracted your thoughts, and now you can be more confident of what you are doing, right? So it works on the principle of distraction. You first have to distract from the thought that you are having currently in order to gain more confidence and motivation.
Right. Insane. So to summarize everything, you don't need confidence to take action. You need to take action first to build confidence.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. And you mentioned a very most practical way to build confidence, that is record and review process. So you can record yourself on camera, and you can just follow this rule of 1% improvement every single day. So you can fix just small thing in every single your video, and by the end of your 50th video or 100th video, you'll see a completely transformation in the way you speak, right? And
It's
you
called the
yeah
100 days rule, that you
huh,
have to do a certain thing for
huh,
100 days and you will see the change in yourself.
right,
So it's very important that we follow that.
right,
So one of my mentors is Ritesh Malik. He was mentioning that when you go down, there's a correction in your work. It's just like, when you are investing in any company, when the stocks go down, there's a correction. We call it correction, not mistake. So try this method for 100 days at least and do not give up. And you
right,
will see, a transformative change in you.
right. Because the best way to get better at speaking is to actually speak, is to actually open your mouth. You cannot learn swimming by reading 100 books on swimming, or like we can go on for 5 hours like on this, and you can read 100 different books on public speaking or communication, but none of that will help add value to your life unless you open your mouth. So speaking is really important. Yeah. Can you list some psychological barriers that hold people back, and how can we tackle them? What are some barriers that are common barriers that we have in our mind?
Okay, so first one I would say is holding you back is your environment. Like whatever environment you are, surrounded with, sometimes very small aspects, in our environment creates a lot of mess in our mind. So if you read this book, The Clutter Around You is written by an architect. She has mentioned that whatever you are surrounded with, it impacts your mind. And why it happens? Because the if suppose let's say you are in a crowded room, you will be attending to a lot of different things at a time. So now your attention would not be selective, but it will be diverted and it will not be fixed, right? So in that scenario, you are actually not attending to a certain stimuli, and it will definitely act as a barrier when you are, thinking something and you are going forward with anything. So that's one barrier. If I have to ask, like, just give me a minute.
Yeah, sure.
Just a
Please,
minute. Sorry,
please,
yeah.
please.
Can you repeat the question? Like,
Sure. Okay. So the question was, can you list the top five or few psychological barriers that hold us back from
Okay, great.
huh,
Okay. Something was there. So yeah. Okay, I'll continue. Huh. Okay, so the second barrier would be what holds you back. First was the attention, what the attention you are giving to the stimuli around you, what things you are surrounded with, right? Second barrier that is holding you back is your, you know, how you are performing. Like, this negative bias with yourself. Like, if you are saying that I am not good enough right now, and all of these struggles that you have in yourself, that acts as a barrier. So a lot of people practice negative affirmations without even realizing it. This we call as a cognitive distortion of shoulding or labeling yourself. So there, if in psychology, we have a lot of cognitive distortion. Some people, say that I should do this, I must do this. So what you are trying to do with yourself, you are trying to create an should statement for yourself that if I don't do a certain aspect, or maybe I will not perform my best, I'm not good enough. So I will tell you, like, there are like 7 8 or more than that cognitive distortion, like personalization, all or none thinking, and then we have labeling, stigmatizing. So these things, acts as a barrier as a person, that you cannot move forward. So I definitely understand that you must also be having this cognitive distortion at a certain point in your
Yeah,
life, that
100%.
that even I used to be there. Like, if somebody asked me, what do you think about a certain thing, I had this thinking that we call as all or none thinking principle, that either you're thinking black or white, in extremes. So
Yeah.
this cognitive distortion, your thought patterns really act as a barrier. This is the second thing. First is your environment, what things you are attending. Third
Yes.
is, these cognitive distortions. And the last I would like to mention is what is acting as a barrier is your self-love, right? Where, like, people today are not even, caring for themselves. It's like lack of self-care which is acting as a barrier right now. Like, I have been in this situation for a very long period of time where I never cared for myself, because we as an individual don't know even our personalities. Whatever we learn through our environment, that we call as a nature and nurture theory in psychology, that
Okay.
your personality develops from the environment and through your genetics. But it's very important that we, modify ourselves with the people around us. Just like you mentioned in the beginning, that whosoever you surround yourself with, it can have an impact in your life. So
Right.
this is the last thing I would love to mention, that you really need to love yourself, care for yourself, and it starts from very basic activities. Maybe just drinking a glass of water is a self-love
Right.
at a certain period of time.
Right. Right. Actually, why do you think, like, you said it, very, like, you're right that we are getting distracted, from self-care and self-love. Why do you think that is the case?
So I believe the lack of self-love is coming from the fact that we are surrounded by this social media reels. First of all, whatever you are consuming, whatever content you are consuming, you don't even realize how much is it impacting your brain. So let's say, Chinmay, like, if I go and I will tell you that go and watch, 5 depressing reels, you will start, you feeling depressed.
Yeah.
So it's very important to be very selective of what you are choosing around it. Lack of self-care is what you are surrounding yourself with around, what you are choosing, what choices are you making. A lot of people say, a lot of the disturbances happen in my life, but it is all about what choices you make in your life. And when you make a choice which is not congruent with what you want, right? If you are making impulsive choices, if you are not thinking about, what it will impact and what impact it will create after 5 years, you will definitely, lose your self-esteem. You will start believing, okay, that, I am not good enough, right? Try to have the right mindset at the right time. Choose carefully, choose wisely what you are choosing currently at the point of time.
Right. Right. I believe you're what you consume. Like the
Yeah,
food
yeah,
we eat, the
yeah.
nutrition we take, it helps our body to grow and nourish. And the content we consume, it shapes our thoughts, our core values, our beliefs. So today, so earlier, what used to happen? Parents used to teach their children the values, the principle, but today everything is done by social media. Children are learning their things from a lot of things from social media. I think that's the biggest problem. Yeah. And Ayush, you mentioned at the beginning of this session that before you even say hi to someone, people subconsciously start judging your confidence, your energy, and your presence by just watching your facial expression, just by how you carry yourself. So your body speaks much louder than words. It tells people whether you are confident, you're nervous, approachable, or unsure. So our brains are wired to make these snap judgments based on what we see and feel in the first few seconds of an interaction. And also research suggests that we form the first impression in just 7 seconds based on facial expression and body language. So I think that it is extremely crucial to fix your body language, because once someone labels you in their mind, it takes a lot of effort to change that perception. So what are some scientific ways or science backed ways to create a strong first impression?
Okay, so if you are walking in the room, just have a right posture. So if you're walking, like this, if your shoulders
Slouching.
out down, you you will not be confident enough while going to the room, and the first impression the person will have, okay, this person is not confident enough. This we call as a body language. Body language plays a very crucial role when we are trying to start communicating with somebody, when we are trying to make the first impression. So in psychology we call this effect as primacy effect, that when you are talking to somebody for the first time, you're having this impression in your head that, okay, how this person is talking, and you will observe everything, how they walk, how they talk, what expressions they are using, how loudly they are speaking. All of these small aspects counter a big aspect, a bigger chunk in your mind. And then it's very important to have a good aura. Now, how to have this good aura? Like, it's very important that you practice mindfulness. If you're not mindful enough, so if you're going in any room and and you're talking, and if you're not present in the moment, you will gonna create an impression in everybody's mind that, okay, you are confused. So these are very important chunks, like the body language, the aura. Also, when you are talking with any of your clients, or maybe anybody in the room, just take a pause and think about the situation and then speak. Sometimes we are so much into this aspect of speaking that we don't even realize that what we are speaking. So there are various response types as well when I am teaching my interns how to talk to the client. So few I would mention over here. First is silence. Try to have silence during conversations, so that you can understand and interpret what the other person is trying to say. The other one is paraphrasing. Like, you said something to me, if I would paraphrase it, the other person will feel that, okay, this person actually listened to me, and then that person communicated in a more better way, right? Then we have another aspect is asking general questions, like open-ended questions. Also, your first impression depends a lot on how you are talking, how you are communicating. Some people are not able to make bigger conversations, and either they are very not good in small talk, and they cannot even get a lot of information. When you are talking to somebody, ask questions in a way that they speak more, just like you are doing it here in a podcast. You are asking me all the open-ended questions.
Yeah.
These small aspects are very important, very crucial when we are talking to somebody.
Right.
Moreover, empathy. When you are talking to somebody, show empathy. Maybe shower a smile. Talk to them in a way that they feel, okay, this I'm feeling comfortable around this person. This will help you to build confidence while you're talking to them in the first place, and the other person will think that, okay, I want to talk to this person more, right? So these are very small things that we really need to inculcate in our communication in order to be more confident and be more acceptable by the people around us.
Right, right, right. And also one more thing I would like to add: if you're speaking with someone and if you're trying to explain any concept, or you're telling a story, try to use hand gestures. We can try to align our hands with the words that we are speaking, so that helps people not only process information much better, but also visualize what we are seeing.
So I'll ask you something, Chinmay. Why do we use these hand gestures? It frees us from ourselves. So I was hearing a podcast where the one person was mentioning, when you are sitting closely with yourself, you feel, lack of confidence. You don't feel confident enough in the room. But if
Right.
you move your hands, you are setting yourself free to talk.
Yeah,
So it's a
yeah,
very important aspect that you mentioned. Thank you so much for that.
yeah.
And
And we can,
yeah, this is
experience it right,
yeah, yeah,
instantly
right
actually.
now. Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Perfect. Brilliant. So Ayushi, here is my last question to you. I mentioned that in the beginning of the podcast, I mentioned that I strongly believe that your success depends on how you communicate, right? And you have years of experience. You have seen a lot of students from different backgrounds, different age groups. Tell me three golden rules for improving communication and life through psychology.
Through psychology. Okay. So I will tell you through a small story here.
Sure.
So I attended one workshop by Yasir Khan. You must be knowing him.
Yeah.
He's one of the best public speakers, and I personally met him, and I
Oh.
realized, like he mentioned all of these points, that while you are communicating with somebody or you are talking, in front of 100 people, you need to have a story, right? So that people can relate. It is very effective way when you are talking to somebody and you have a story. People tend to believe more in storytelling. If you start telling them a story, they will say, okay, something like this happened in my life. Just to grab their attention, start with storytelling. Use information repeatedly, right? And the last one is humor. It's very important. Like if you can speak something in a humorous way, people would love to talk to you. And
Right.
even in psychology also, these are important aspects. Like when I am mentioning storytelling, we also use a lot of storytelling, formats during our counseling sessions. So when a client comes to me and they're very confused in their life that what to do, and they're unable to form a rapport with me, I start with some unique story. Have you heard about that story? Maybe in the movie or maybe in any of the animated cartoon networks, and they start believing it. They start visualizing that, okay, that something has happened with me exactly. Now if I say repeating the information, what happens when you are repeating a certain information and again, you are actually moving beyond the fact that from short term memory you are triggering their long term memory. So if your information directly goes into their long term memory when you are repeating certain aspects again, right? And the last one is very effectively works, is how to be humorous. When you are making humor, you will not realize, people will start trusting you in like minutes. They will, when what happens when somebody is making humor, you will laugh, and then dopamine releases in your body,
And we
right?
connect with the
And
other person. It's
if
very
we
easy to
connect with the
connect.
other person, it's very easy to connect. So yeah, these are like very important aspects, even psychologically, if I have to say, and even through a mindset shift. So people should adopt all of these techniques. And even my one of the best public speaker, Yasir Khan, has also mentioned all of these points. So I was very much into the fact that I would love to share with somebody someday. And thanks to you, Chinmay, that
Yeah,
today you asked me this question.
brilliant. Actually, the whole purpose of communication is to connect with humans, right? And the best way to build connection is through emotions. And to generate emotions, I think storytelling is the great tool that we can use. Repeating your message. So the more you repeat, it is just ingrained in the mind of the other person. And lastly, humor to connect with the other person. Brilliant. That was a complete guide to re-engineer your brain to improve your communication skills. Thank you so much, Ayushi, for sharing incredible frameworks and your perspectives. I personally got to learn about communication from a very amazing perspective. And if anybody who is watching applies even 20% of what we taught, it would significantly impact the way he speak and connect. So brilliant. Thank you so much for your time. And I hope we record another mind blowing session very soon.
Definitely, definitely, Chinmay. It was lovely talking to you, and thank you for having me today. And I really loved your questions, like how you formulated them. It's very important, like today we build all of these communication skills. It is the most important factor today. And people are not realizing sitting and just scrolling reels will not help you develop these. Go talk about it.
Right, right.
Start talking.
And we are living in an age, Ayushi, where we can be in any part of the world, and we can get access, to the best mentors, like because of internet. It's information age. Everything is accessible to us at free of cost, right? So I think we are very lucky, and we should watch more good content, attend more like such valuable sessions. So thank you so much for your time again, and see you soon.
Thank you so much, Chinmay, and thank you for having me once more. And it was lovely talking to you. Thank you.
Perfect.